Bouverdare is a very short price favourite to become the first back-to-back champion hurdle winner since.
Isterbrack.
Come on, no. Do better than that, Jennings. It's Irish. Thank you. You should be on the panel since Hardy Eustace. Bouverdare. No, 9-4 on. Right. Is there any reason to try and get this horse beaten, Keels? And if there is, what is it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I do expect him to win, but he hasn't had a race this year, has he? And it looked to me like last time if he'd forgotten how to race, he didn't know what to do. He had to get shaken up to beat John Constable. Now, he still hasn't had he basically hasn't had a race since last year at Aintree. And the trainer says he needs a lot of work, and I don't know whether he had a hard enough race. And why run it in a poxy race like the Contenders Hurdle instead of the Irish Champion Hurdle? And I know Luke's going to bang back and say, well, the trainers, it's one. There's only one race and all that, but that's not what jump racing should be about. Jump racing should be about competition.
It's about
races like the Contenders Hurdle shouldn't even exist in the calendar because they discourage competition. And the fact is, he's going there undercooked, and he might go as undercooked as Binocular was when he got beat first time he ran the neck. And listen, I still expect him to win. I've backed Wicklow Brave each way. I've backed him with. I've had more on Wicklow Brave each way without the favourite. He was. I backed him in a race last year. He lost ground at the start because he's a bit of a nutter himself. He lost about 8 lengths. But he traded at 3-1 in running because he was absolutely cantering heading into the second last. And then apparently he'd done a suspensory between the last two as well. And had a bit of an injury. But he's a very, very talented horse. You've got to remember, he beat my tent of yours at Punchestown afterwards. By all accounts, he's going for the race and he's been going well at home.
So Wicklow Brave, a value play against Bouverdare, and Paul's backed him big each way against without the favourite as well. Luke, what would you say to counter Paul's theory that Bouverdare's been poncing about and needs to have had a couple of proper races?
Well, he has, but you don't train over 50 winners at the Cheltenham Festival by undercooking a horse. He certainly won't be undercooked, that's for sure. I think he looks a better horse this year. When horses aren't quite right, the first thing that normally goes is their jumping. And last year, I don't ever remember him jumping as well as he has this year. He's absolutely mustard, whether he gets in short or he gets in long, which just shows his well-being. He's in brilliant form. He beat a horse called Flying Tiger that Paul fancies in the race at Newcastle. So they're not absolute rubbish. He can only beat what's put in front of him. Out of the shorties that are running at Cheltenham, I think he's as solid as a bet as you're going to get for the short ones. If you don't, I mean, we'd love to see Faheen run well, but there aren't many Premiership footballers that come back, having been injured, and come back and compete at that consistent level. On his run first time, yes, he can be competitive. On what he's achieved in the next two runs, he's going to struggle. So I'd love to see him come back, but I think he faces an uphill climb. If I was going to go for one against Bouverdare, it'd be a stablemate, My Tent or Yours, who always runs a race. But for me, Bouverdare looks unbeatable.
Now, Rich, here's the deal. It was inconceivable after he made his seasonal debut that Faheen would roll up in the Champion Hurdle so much a bigger price than Bouverdare. Subsequent to that, he's bombed out once and he's run pretty creditably the second time. Yes, the gilt might have gone off the gingerbread, but is the talent still there?
The guilt may have gone off the gingerbread. Janie Mac. How posh is that? Is it true that you're Lord Snooty? Is that really true?
Why do you hire me for
the guilt has gone off the gingerbread? What the hell does that mean?
Right.
Who has guilt on gingerbread?
Is he good or is he gone?
I think he's good. Is he the same? I don't know. I think if he can't beat My Tent or Yours, well, then we'll certainly retire him. But I think with Bouverdare, I mean, I expect him to win. If, though, Faheen was to replicate his run in the Morgiana in November, he'd win. Based on everybody else's form this year. That was a very good run, good time, a good Racing Post rating.
On what ground?
What's that?
What's
that?
Too old.
Too old. He might be, but that run in the Morgiana was brilliant. Now, he is 10 years old. Time's against him. As I'm not saying he'll win. But the thing with Faheen is his work has been very good. Very, very good. He has been a bit light in his races than he was previously, and he hasn't had the same spark. So the theory in the yard has been he's a bit bored. He was off for 2 years. sometimes you lose the will to carry on, I suppose. He was great in the Morgiana, but we haven't been able to reignite that spark. We've been trying over the last few weeks to get that spark back. He's showing signs of it. We're building him up gradually. He's gained weight, which is good, much stronger and fitter, more muscle. But, you know, we haven't asked the big question of him yet. And I'd say there'd be a big question asked either, you know, the way Willie works his horses is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It'll either be Saturday, or pardon me, tomorrow, Saturday, or Tuesday, and then I think we'll know where we stand. But if we could get him back to where he was in November, he'd be bang there. But I do think Bouvardere will win, and I think that Faugheen will run a very credible race and competitive and give him something to think about at least.
Will
blinkers on Faugheen?
No. Maybe some other headgear considered, but I don't think blinkers work. Willie's record with blinkers is horrendous. It is.
What's the difference between November and now?
What's that?
What's the difference between a Faugheen coming out in November and to now?
I think maybe it was his freshness and the fact that he was just great to be back on a track and just seemed to really enjoy it. I'm not sure Willie's horses ran well at Christmas. I mean, Faugheen, York Hill, Min, a lot of ours ran very well below their ratings at Christmas. There must have been something going on in the yard. You know, Willie seems to think that the run at Leopardstown earlier in the month was better than he at first blush, and he certainly improved from Christmas. If we get that back into him, he'd have every chance. It's not the strongest champion hurdle of all time.
Right, Rich, is he...
No, he won't go for the stayers. He'll go to the champion hurdle. Yeah.
We will get some questions at the end as well. Rich, will he definitely be your only runner in the race?
Who else is entered?
They're all entered, aren't they?
Min.
Douvan.
No, Min won't run. Douvan won't run.
What if Douvan comes back and you've got Min and Douvan, and will they both run against each other in the champion chase?
Unusual for us. That is the plan. Now, we've been here before, as everybody in this audience knows. The old switchy. But switchy, yes. But we will. The plan is to run them both in the champion chase because they're 2 milers. We'll see if we can get them there. It'd be a great problem to have. I wouldn't commit that they'll both run. I'm just hoping Douvan is fit enough to run at Cheltenham. That would be great.
But you don't see yourself running anything else in this?
No.
Okay.
York Hill running?
Yes, he is going to run. I think. Well, he said today or yesterday. Yeah.
David Jennings, what's going to win the champion hurdle?
Bouvardere wins the champion hurdle, Nick. It's funny, I think Faugheen, 100% Faugheen would probably beat 100% Bouvardere, but yet Bouvardere was more impressive when winning his champion hurdle than Faugheen was when he beat Arctic Fire, I think. So it's a funny kind of comparison. I do think Faugheen is a slightly better horse than Bouvardere if they did get him back. The thing that really disappointed me and makes me think there is improvement in Faugheen, his jumping was terrible down the back at Leopardstown.
Wasn't brilliant.
Yeah, he was really sloppy and he got in tight to a couple, and it was almost as if his raw ability kept him in contention and had him in front of Super Sunday coming to the home turn, obviously. But
when he jumped that second last, though, he went 2 legs clear.
He did, yeah.
It wasn't just the last oomph.
He did, and it makes you think...
He might be too old.
It makes you think that there's some kind of flame still there.
Yeah.
Like, it would be an incredible training achievement to get him back to where he was. But I just think Bouvardere is on the way up, and the betting is probably right, you know.
He's the right price.
Yeah,
well,
I think...
He's 10. Your man's right.
Yeah.
But do you think back in 1981, somebody sat in an audience somewhere in Yorkshire and Peter Easterby was on a panel and they shouted, "Sea Pigeon, 2-all!"
No.
No, I don't either.
As regards a bet on the race, if you go through, if you get the crap for that.
What did they say?
As regards a bet in the race,
Another friend you made.
there's so
We can have you take it out. Don't worry.
York Hill will run in this race. I think he said 60-40 in favour of running the champion hurdle, but I got the impression in Cloysutton on Monday that it was more 75-25 that he would run in this race. But York Hill, sure, how could you have any faith in York Hill whatsoever? He just does his own thing, and I've just washed my hands of him. As I said, as regards a bet in the race, I just think so many of these are either not going to run or they're on the way down. And that makes me think that one horse who's not good enough to win a champion hurdle, but I think he could be placed, is Mick Jazz, who has won a Grade 1, obviously, when Faheen disappointed. He was third to Faheen in Super Sunday in the Irish champion hurdle. I thought he ran quite well. I just think the pace of the champion hurdle would suit him. There was some 16 to 1 available without Bouvardere each way, quarter the odds, 3 places. That was gone yesterday. But a double figure price, Mick Jazz without Bouvardere, if you can get 3 places, quarter the odds, he's guaranteed to run. There might only be 7 or 8 runners, and I think he will be placed.
Top man. Well, let's move on.